on the road to MotoGP. This is FAB-Racing.
Coming up now is the Premier Class. It is the LS2 Helmets MiniGP 70 British Championship. This is the Premier Class here at FAB. It's where the riders make their final step before they move on to championships such as the British Talent Cup or Junior GP or even Moto 3. We've seen riders from FAB go into World Championship and be very successful. But a great grid here. It's grew once again. 11 bikes entered this weekend. 11 bikes qualified for the race. So we should see some great action.
Absolutely. And several of the riders that we've already seen already today. And Archie O'Brien took the pole position in qualifying. So we should have high expectations for Archie. I'm sure he's going to have the same level of expectations as he's already revving the engine strongly there. Huge clouds of smoke coming out, Lewis, from his bike 91.
Yeah, huge smoke there from the two strokes. But of course, no Ethan Sparks this round, the two-time champion. He is racing in Spain in the Moto 4 class. So what will Ethan Sparks do? I am sure he will do us proud. But this race, it's going to be a great one. It's going to be Archie O'Brien who is going to start on pole position with Blake Wilson alongside him. Luke Fitchett will start in third place with Henry McCartney rounding off the second row of the grid. Bill Harris will start in fifth with Finlay Paulhill in sixth. Now Wilson Dilts will start in seventh place with Marco Holt in eighth. Ollie Sims will start ninth with Harry Payne in 10th, and Austin Johnson rounds out the grid. And some of these riders have been racing in the MiniGP 50s, so they already have some experience.
Yeah, they're going to need to make sure that they go straight on the back straight and not go into the infield as well. But this is the big race then, the blue ribbon event, race 2 for the LS2 Helmets MiniGP 70 series, and as Lewis said, the final stepping stone before bigger and better things for the riders. So this is where it matters most. And it's red lights, the riders ready to go, and away they go from the start. Archie getting a slightly difficult launch, and he's overtaken right from the start from Blake Wilson on the inside, and he's also having a threat from Luke Fitchett on the inside as well as they go through the S's. But it's Archie who's in second place with Blake Wilson secured into that first position. We've got Luke Fitchett in third, and the riders just getting themselves organised. A very clean start there from everybody, Lewis.
Yeah, everyone got away cleanly there. Marco Holt's at the back of the field at the moment, but of course that's not where we see Marco. He will fight his way through. I believe they're breaking in some engines this weekend. But Blake Wilson at the front on the number 8, leading the way from Archie O'Brien, Luke Fitchett and Henry McCartney. Henry McCartney loves this track. He was saying he loves being able to just open up the bike down the long straight here. It's such a quick and technical circuit. Blake Wilson there having a little weave in the straight line, potentially not liking the line going into this chicane, but it looks like it's done pretty well. And there's Luke Fitchett looking down the inside. Luke Fitchett, he's great at defending and he's great at attacking. It's the exact combo that you need in the number 7 in third position, chasing Spider helmet of Archie O'Brien. Blake Wilson though, fastest lap of the race of course on lap 1. We see them come down towards the final corner, and there is actually Wilson Dilts. So they come round the final corner, power it out, and Blake Wilson still in the race. So as you can see, these young riders using all of their body weight and all of their strength to get these bike pull into the positions that they want.
Yeah, it's a very physical ride here as Fitchett has another look down the inside into the S's. It's not quite done, but Archie O'Brien, I think his eyes are only forwards at the moment, but perhaps too wide an entry, and the door was open, and Luke Fitchett down into second place underneath Archie O'Brien.
Yeah, Luke Fitchett into that second place position. He's still defending, he's making sure Archie O'Brien has to go wide. He did a good job of that. Now Archie O'Brien had a slight gap, so he could straight away do the switch back on him. But now, what can Luke Fitchett do on Blake Wilson? Can he find a way past? Because Blake Wilson, towards the end of the season last year, he looked very strong, and now it's giving these surprises like this. It shouldn't be a surprise anymore though, because there's Luke Fitchett almost hitting into the back of Blake Wilson. Blake Wilson, he's doing every single thing right. He's trying to keep them behind. He's pulling shapes of all sorts to try and just keep them behind. But there's Archie O'Brien taking a slightly wider line to try and carry a bit more speed.
Look at that traction from Fitchett on the way out of the corner. He's got a tremendous line. He's found a really good line through there, Lewis.
Yeah, he certainly has. Luke Fitchett had a great line through there. He managed just to power out of it, but there he is trying to power his way down the straight. Blake Wilson on the outside, Luke Fitchett on the inside, but nothing can be done just yet. Blake Wilson's doing a great job at defending here. He's very, very aggressive while defending. 8 laps to go for the number 8. What can he do? And what can everyone else do actually on him is the real question. Archie O'Brien looks to be getting a bit impatient, trying to look down the outside of Luke Fitchett.
Yeah, I think the attack's going to have to come shortly from Luke Fitchett because Archie O'Brien is looming large behind him. This is another great battle for a super close podium here. It is Blake Wilson in the lead from Luke Fitchett, who's brought himself up from 3rd place already. Blake Wilson up from 2nd, but Luke Fitchett will be coming alongside. He's going to have a look down the inside. I fancy he's got better grip going wider and cutting back, and he manages to do it. He's got the nose ahead into turn 1.
Yeah, what a great move that is there from Luke Fitchett, making his way into the race lead. Now, can anyone manage to get past him? We spoke about all year last season how great he was at defending. Will he still live up to it? Luke Fitchett right now going to be as tight as possible, but still not compromise his speed. Archie O'Brien, I can have a shot at Blake Wilson. I can get past. I do not want Luke Fitchett to run away because Luke Fitchett set the fastest lap of the race, 2/10 quicker last time around. So what is going to happen? 7 laps to go in this race. Henry McCartney still sits in 4th, with Wilson Delks just behind. Finlay Paul Hill racing in 2 classes this weekend is in 6th.
Yeah, Henry McCartney looking very patient at the moment, and another new fastest lap from Luke Fitchett. He has pulled out all the stops here. He is going for it to try and put a gap here. Brilliant stuff. Pace is definitely improving here as the heat of the day takes effect on the track and we get into our biggest and best machines.
Yeah, the heat of the day is taking effect on the track, but so is the wind, and that will be affecting the riders as we see Archie O'Brien still trying to find a way past.
He is. He's working hard though. He's working really hard. He's going to feel a sense of loss after starting on the pole, but getting super wide going through the final corner, and it is a position that he saw Luke Fitchett make a move on Blake Wilson successfully into turn 1 before, so he'll know that Blake is a little bit vulnerable into that corner, but conversely, perhaps Blake is extra defensive.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and find out. Blake Wilson in 2nd position at the moment. 5 laps to go in this race. What can Blake Wilson do? What can everyone else do? Because Luke Fitchett is running away at the front. Almost 1 second now separating Luke Fitchett and Blake Wilson. So you have to wonder, is Blake Wilson holding back the likes of Archie O'Brien?
I think he started well, but his pace, he only qualified in 2nd, but his pace seems to be worse than that in the race. But he's holding on at the moment, and it's a real skill that the riders are going to have to master before taking that next lead, is being able to defend when your machine's not with you on the day.
Yeah, it sounds it's being able just to learn how to adapt in situations, how to adapt with a bike that's not perfect, because of course this is racing. Sometimes things don't always go your way, but of course these are the future champions. These are the stars of the future.
Well, remember the day you watch this race, because I'm sure you'll be referencing it in future. These are the top tier riders of tomorrow. This is Luke Fitchett breaking away from the pack, but Blake Wilson cannot get away from Archie here. Archie O'Brien, who is going to try and at least get the 2nd step on the podium. Blake super wide there. That was possibly an opportunity for Archie O'Brien gone begging there, Lewis.
Yeah, it looks like Archie O'Brien actually got a good drive on touch straight, but Blake Wilson, you can just see, sets up the bike slightly to make Archie O'Brien have less room. He's just trying to squeeze him a bit.
There we go.
And there we go once again. It seems that Archie O'Brien cannot find a way down the inside. It always seems to be the outside that he manages to get an opportunity at, and he just can't make it stick. And
it's the outside that Wilson is leaning on, and where he's actually quite slow, but he's got very, very late late exits on the corner, and he's running super wide onto the concrete, onto the curbs. And again, it's now going to be 2 laps to go, so Archie's going to have to get it done very quickly here, Lewis.
Yeah, he certainly is. Blake Wilson on the number 8. What can he do? Can he hold on to it? This seems just to be holding Archie O'Brien up, because now all the riders behind are in the low 42s, while Luke Fitchett is doing 41.7. So Luke Fitchett, he's probably getting about half a second a lap on these guys.
Wilson Dilks also very close behind the battle for the top 4 here. that is currently Henry McCartney has that 4th position, but Archie O'Brien down towards the outside once again trying to find his way through. But here we go to cross the line to start the final lap is Luke Fitchett, and in the 41s with no one else anywhere near him.
Yeah, look, Fitchett, number 7. Some nice blue wheels actually this year for him on the MiniGP 70, but Blake Wilson, can he hold on? Just one more up. Actually, McCartney and Wilson Delts have dropped back from the 2nd and 3rd position. So, can he do it? Can Wilson Delts hold on to hold on to 5th position? Because of course the top 5 is still a very, very respectable result, but winning the race is even more respectable, and winning it by 2.8 seconds. What can he do? Luke Fitchett, he's going to take the checker flag and to win on the number 7, and for 2nd place it's going to be Blake Wilson who holds on to it. So wow, Blake Wilson,
so
what
close
a great
at the
ride.
end. Absolutely brilliant. Blake Wilson absorbing so much pressure, finished less than a 1/10 of a second ahead of Archie O'Brien in 3rd place. Henry McCartney, Wilson Delts, Finley Polhill, Marco Holt, Ollie Sims, Austin Johnson, Bill Harris and Harry Payne, but the winner, Luke Fitchett, his best race so far today.
Yeah, Luke Fitchett, great result on the number 7 machine, on the number 7 metric. Great metrics for a couple of seasons now, and he's looked very, very strong. And you just see, once he got into his own space, clear track in front, he just managed to bridge a gap.
Yeah, very, very good move and fantastic pace. He'll be super, super pumped, and you can see what it means to him on the bike. What a fantastic way to start his season.
Yeah, a great way to start his season. He'll be delighted, and so will his dad. It's a great family. It's the Fitchetts, of course. Luke Fitchett, always wearing that flat cap that we used to call him Flat Cap Fitchett for, but Luke Fitchett takes the race win, and what a way to do it. Almost 3 seconds at the line. Blake Wilson will come home in 2nd after a titanic battle between himself and Archie O'Brien. Henry McCartney is in 4th with Wilson Delts in 5th. Finley Polhill finishes in 6th with Marco Holt, Ollie Sims, Austin Johnson and Bill Harris rounding out our top 10. So what a great race that was, and as we say, it's the premier class of FAB, and that's why it's close battles, and it really teaches these young riders the skills that they're going to need for the future.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. Really, really special race. Those previous 2 races, I'm so glad we saved those till last for race 2 of the weekend for our two leagues, and we restart again shortly back with the AC40 Pros. But yes, you're absolutely right. Brilliant performance from, I think, both Luke Fitchett and Blake Wilson. Archie O'Brien will be ruining that poor start, but honestly, tremendous pace from Fitchett. I don't think anyone had the match of him there.
So now it is time for the premier class. It's the LS2 Helmets MiniGP 70 British Championship. It's the final race of the day for these riders. You can see Lee Quells making their way onto the track as start marshal, and you can see final words being done for Marco Holt from his dad. So these riders ready for it, as there's 11 of them out there, I believe, and it's going to be a battle to remember.
Definitely, as you say, this is the final step on the ladder towards the road to MotoGP, the official road to MotoGP, here brought to you by LS2 Helmets on our Sunday race day here at Lydd karting circuit, and this is where we saw one of the very best races so far of the day in round 2. So Archie O'Brien, a big feature of today's race, has the pole position, but will he have it all his own way? Of course, he's coming back from a disappointing race just a few races earlier, so he'll be hoping for much better than that this time. But he'll be looking to settle scores, Lewis, don't you think?
Yeah, he certainly will be. Blake Wilson in the first race really impressed me, to be honest. Even the end of last season, he's shown his pace and just shown his consistency to fight at the front. It's great to see from Blake Wilson. It's great to see how much he has came on as a rider and as a racer in this Metro Kit class. You can see the difference there between a dark visor and a clear visor there from Henry McCartney and Luke Fitchett. And you can just see the different approaches taken by these riders in both the helmet setups and how they want their bikes to look, and it's great to see so much personality shining through, and I'm sure we're going to see a great race. Final check's been done there. Marco Holt, they're trying to run in that 70 engine and it's taken some time due to the practice being combined between the 50s and 70s due to the bad weather has meant that they've had less track time on the 70s than what they were originally hoping for.
And away they go then to start their sighter lap. We'll have the grid for you shortly, but we know, of course, that Archie O'Brien will be at the front of the grid here for the LS2 Helmets Road to MotoGP British Championship. Here is your grid then. Archie O'Brien took the pole position on a 42.138 from Blake Wilson. Then Luke Fitchett, Henry McCartney on row 2. On row 3, Bill Harris, Finley Polehill. Do we have Bill Harris now? I think we do. It was just that bike from earlier that was the problem. Wilson Dilks and Marco Holt on row 4. Then Ollie Sims and Harry Payne. And at the back, Austin Johnson, yet another Johnson to watch today. But Archie O'Brien and Blake Wilson will be the ones vying for the whole shot, Lewis, into the first corner.
Yeah, they certainly will be. Archie O'Brien will be wanting a better result than what he had in the MiniGP 50 class. Of course, this is the Premier class. This is the one all the junior riders are aiming to be in. This is what all the junior riders want to win. What is going to happen? Archie O'Brien positioned himself perfectly for turn 1, and so is Luke Fitchett. Will the wind take a play? And you can just see Archie O'Brien ready.
The wind is very strong today, so the riders are having to adjust to the gusting winds of this seaside three-side circuit. That is a problem for I think that was bike 92, Elliot Crosby, possibly being pulled off to the side. So we'll wait a second and give them the chance to restart. Otherwise, we'll be ready to go. So we're waiting. I think we're ready to go. Let's go then, away from the start, and it's a go. It's Archie O'Brien slow away, and Blake Wilson almost made contact, and there was a slight correction from both of them, but Archie O'Brien away from the start, securing the first position. Wilson is second, and that is Luke Fitchett securing third position at the moment from Henry McCartney, away from the early part of the first lap so far. Archie O'Brien clearing away, but it was almost disaster, Lewis, from the start there.
Yeah, it was, and Archie O'Brien leading the way with the Spider-Man helmet on the 91. Blake Wilson will want to try and close that gap swiftly. We've seen in the MiniGP 50 race, Archie O'Brien knows how to extend the gap, but there's Henry McCartney, slightly different look to him this year. Same levers, different fairings. But there we have it, coming through the first lap. The first lap is over. Archie O'Brien, the fastest lap of the race, a 2/10 of a second gap between himself and Blake Wilson. Luke Fitchett in third position with Henry McCartney in fourth. Wilson Dilks making his way to fifth place, and Marco Holt in seventh, making some positions from the line.
Absolutely, problem. Pole hill right at the foot of the field though at the moment in 11th. So it's not all going well for him on the final race of today. But Archie O'Brien already pulling a bit of a gap here, a quarter of a second, and Blake Wilson has Luke Fitchett for attention right behind him, having a little look on the way into the final corner at the end of the second lap, and we tick over to 10 laps to go. Yeah,
just 10 laps to go in this race as Blake Wilson, Luke Fitchett and Henry McCartney in this field of riders for second position at the moment. All of them think that they're faster than each other. All of them think that they have the pace to catch O'Brien. Why? Because they're racing and they think that they are the fastest on the circuit. But right now, the fastest on the circuit is Archie O'Brien with 41.812. 5/10 ahead of Blake Wilson, ahead of these riders, and if they start battling, that gap's going to increase.
Well, race day just builds to this event. Of course, this is the one that matters the most for the racers who desperate to get on that next step and get the support from sponsors to help them move forward. And at the moment, Archie O'Brien featuring very strongly. I do think Luke Fitchett is not done in third position either, though.
Yeah, I'm being told as well that Finley Polehill did start the race from pit lane. He was that bike that was originally wheeled off the grid, but maybe just trying to see if the problem is resolved on that. We'll treat it as more of a test session. Right. 9 laps in this race though, and at the front, it looks like consistent gaps actually between all the riders. No one's really edging out.
No, it's very, very finely balanced here. There's a lot of, just to underline what you were saying, Wilson Dilks secured the fastest lap there with a 41.8. Got a rider down, but standing up and hoping to get back into the race at the tail of the field. But Marco Holt is moving forward as well, and he's vying for a position into the S's in the first sector and trying to get his way through past Bill Harris, who has unfortunately moved down to fifth.
Yeah, just as Wilson Dix got that fastest lap of the race, it was snatched by Archie O'Brien, and to make it even worse, he was that crasher there as well, so he trudges away very, very disappointed, I think it's fair to say. So we're going to have to wait and see what is going to happen. As Finlay Paulhill as well, I can say, has also pulled into the pit lane to retire from this race, it seems. But Luke Fitchett, will he be able to catch up? Will he be able to get in front and defend and catch O'Brien? Archie O'Brien putting in fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap.
Yeah, but Fitchett does look very dynamic on the bike. He really looks like it's underneath him in a way that perhaps Blake Wilson is struggling to get to at the moment. What have we got? Henry McCartney behind this group as well, and Archie O'Brien is not getting away from the field at the moment, and that's good to see. Bike 85 rider fine and well, but unfortunately end of his race today. We can reset and try again tomorrow. Down into the final corner tries Luke Fitchett, but it didn't work out this time. He's definitely got a speed advantage at the moment, Lewis.
Yeah, he certainly does. And 6 laps to go in this race. Ollie Sims at the back of that pack there, trying to chase Bill Harris, who's having a great meeting actually on that MiniGP 70. But can anyone catch Archie O'Brien? 1 second gap now. Archie O'Brien last time around was just 1/10 faster than Blake Wilson in second, but the gap definitely is rising, but not as rapidly as what we've previously seen from Archie O'Brien. So maybe he's just taking a little settling at this point in the race before he goes for another push.
Luke Fitchett is going to be really keen to get the move done, because he can see in front of Blake Wilson on the long sweeping bends. He can see how far Archie O'Brien is slowly building the lead to almost a second now from Wilson. So Fitchett desperate to get a move on now.
Yeah, then they call him Flat Cap Fitchett, of course, because he always wears the flat cap around the paddock, and in all pictures you'll see on his racing page.
He needs to get a sponsorship deal from a flat cap manufacturer, I think.
Yeah, it would definitely be a smart move for him, but of course the number 7 inspired, the style inspired by Barry Sheen, and you can just see right now how strong he's trying to do. He inspires, obviously, to be the next Barry Sheen as he dives down the inside.
This is it from Fitchett. This is a good attempt, but he just had to brake slightly earlier, and a big twitch from Blake Wilson, who's clearly pushing. I bet he could hear the bike of Fitchett on his inside at that point.
Yeah, certainly nerves will be rising in both the Fitchett and the Wilson camp after seeing this, after seeing these two young riders squabble like this. These two riders are doing almost identical lap times, a 41.7 from both of them, just 1/10 slower than Archie O'Brien.
Yeah, just past the halfway point of this final race of the day. O'Brien leads from Wilson and Fitchett, but it is anyone's guess as to who's going to triumph here at the end of it, as Fitchett has a tiny top speed advantage, but he just can't get enough of the bike underneath Wilson. And Archie O'Brien, another fastest lap, 41.279 this time around.
Yeah, great fastest lap. 3 laps to go in this race. So what can Wilson Dilks do? Wilson Dilks crashed out earlier on in this race, but what can he do tomorrow whenever it's round 2? And there we have Blake Wilson, but currently these riders are not too far off the lap record. Actually, Archie O'Brien, that last lap has just bet the lap record, a 1:41.279. That's 1/10 faster than the lap record. The first rider all day actually to break the lap record. The track condition just heating up towards the end of the day. The wind has certainly cooled down from what it was.
Yeah, definitely. It's absolutely optimal position now for Archie O'Brien. Luke Fitchett trying to get the bike underneath Blake Wilson once again, just can't get a way through, but it's only a matter of time before he goes for it. I don't think the race win is on for Fitchett. He's struggling now to secure second place as he tries to get a good exit out of the second sector and up over the crest, and can't quite just get the advantage. It is absolutely marginal, the gaps between these riders, excuse me.
Yeah, there's Archie O'Brien, the new lap record holder. It was previously held by Bailey Stewart Campbell, held all the way back in 2019. So that lap record's held for quite a long time. Marco Holt, of course, the lap record holder himself in the MiniGP 50 class that she held from last year. But Archie O'Brien, a great consistent ride. Heading on to the last lap. We're on the last lap now. what can anyone else do? Can anyone else stop Archie O'Brien? It looks like he can only stop himself, but that battle for second position is still carrying on between Blake Wilson and Luke Fitchett.
Yeah, so out onto the back straight then, where we are about to finish the race as Archie O'Brien round the final corner, Lewis.
Yeah, round the final corner, Archie O'Brien takes the race, win the final race of the day. Blake Wilson has been overtaken. Furious there, Luke Fitchett nabs second place at the line. What an overtake that was. Henry McCartney comes home in fourth, Mark Holt fifth, and then Ollie Sims and Bill Harris comes home as well. But Blake Wilson, furious at himself there, ran slightly wide coming out the final corner and threw away a second position.
The Fitchett did pile the pressure on the whole time. It was hardly an unforced error from Blake Wilson, but he'll be absolutely furious because it was that final corner, Lewis, and that is the bitterest pill to take.
Yeah, it certainly will be that final corner in the final lap on the final race of this round and of the day. That's got to hurt, and one he'll be thinking about for the rest of the night. But Luke Fitchett, on the other hand, will be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, definitely. He worked incredibly hard through that race. What a fantastic performance from the drivers. Oh, wow. Blake Wilson is still punching the handlebars. He is so angry. I think that's the most animated we've seen a rider today. So, Archie O'Brien wins the final race of today with a winning margin of 1.347 seconds. Congratulations to him, and a great result there. Luke Fitchett coming in to finish second on the final corner there with Blake Wilson in third. A very angry Blake Wilson. Henry McCartney came fourth. Marco Holt in fifth. Ollie Sims secured sixth position. Bill Harris in seventh. Austin Johnson in 8th, Harry Payne in 9th. We had 2 DNFs led by Wilson Dilks and Finley Colhill. And that rounds out our day of racing then.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's been a great day of racing here at the Lydd karting circuit. What an awesome day. We've been very lucky with the weather. A bit windy, but very sunny. Slightly cool at the start of the day. By the end of the day, lap records were breaking.
Tremendous. Absolutely brilliant. And more to come tomorrow.